and welcome to my channel. My name is Patricia. This is Reality Corner, and I just want to clarify one thing. I've received so many messages in form of questions and also emails on one of my various videos, I think mainly concerning the Schengen Visa. And so people have been interested in the spousal visa, which is like a family reunion, and I just want to clarify. I think I did a second video where I clarified, but it sparks me as though comes out to me as though people haven't been able to watch that one and in a long time. I'm a lazy person when it comes to this. I think people may understand due to the schedule in Europe, and I think in Germany in particular, the time and everything is quite demanding. You really need to manage your time very well for you to be able to cater in things that you do in your spare time, like maybe filming videos, because I understand most of the people who go into this kind of I wouldn't call it adventure. For me, maybe yeah, because it's something you do. I do in my private time, but other people have taken it as a full-time job. They end there, they do a lot of things by thereby abandoning everything and just focusing on media. So you need to understand, sometimes it's not like I'm ignorant. I try by all means to reply to emails and also to answer to every comment. And I believe that when it comes to visas, I've addressed everything that anybody needs to know. Why? Because I've been a victim. I've been once wanting information, and unfortunately the information was very scarce, and that's why I have tried as much as possible to provide the information that I believe that we people who travel, people who want to get married, people who want maybe to go to school. The only visa that I've not talked about is a student visa, and maybe if there is any other visa that I don't know, maybe diplomatic or anything. But I have stated that for every visa that I've managed to take, talk of business visa coming to Europe, talk of tourist visa, talk of invitation visa, and family reunion. These four categories I have done on my own. And I've not only been to Germany, I just want to clarify. I have been to countries like Sweden, I've been to countries like passed through Austria, I've been to Netherlands and other European countries. And when it comes to the Schengen visa, the requirements are quite very similar. Maybe I use very just to emphasize, they are quite similar, or ähnlich auf Deutsch sagt man. So I wanted to know, and you'll find that, for example, in Zambia, I would give an example of my own country. In Zambia, when you go to the German embassy, I think they are doing also visas for the Malawans, our friends in Malawi, because they are catered for as well. And so mostly the requirements at the Swedish embassy, the German embassy, they are likely the same because they fall under the Schengen visa. Even though I do believe the Swedish embassy is giving quite, has many, or has maybe a prerogative of issuing this visa to more countries or member states. But I think for German, as I know, at least from the information that I have, it's Austria, I think Hungary, if I'm correct, just those, and German. So, but however, their requirements are the same, and they draw the information from the same system, which is the SIS system, which is the Schengen information system, has information on every person that has traveled within the Schengen area or within the Schengen region. Because when you are within that region, no border around, and you are in a border-free zone, and so everybody is careful and they have the same requirements. And I believe if you want to go to the UK and maybe from Germany, or if the UK embassy or commissioner sees that you have been to one of any of these countries within the Schengen, what they do is they normally borrow information. They know that these guys have a particular record on you, and they will go to them and borrow information of anything that they have on you. If there is nothing, they will tell you they have nothing on you and you can proceed. So when it comes to the marriage visa now, because I've seen that with the coming of social media, that's now my observation, with the coming of dating platforms and everything, there are a lot of people that are meeting across the world. It's nothing new to me, at least I know, because even here in Germany where we're living, if you want to have friends like very fast, you need to go like maybe online, even just to have like people from across Africa. If I want to have friends from Nigeria, if I don't go to church or join any club, or it's very difficult to make friends. I tell you, in German, it's not an easy thing to make friends. And I've mentioned it before why Germans have trust issues. Okay? They are known for this. They don't trust anyhow. They will not just bring you in their circle like that. They don't have that kind of space. You need to earn it. You understand? You need to earn it to be their friend. You need to earn it to just be closer in their circle. The fact that they know you does not mean that you're close to them. Does not mean that you are their friends. So by so doing, somehow, for those that would like to get married, I want you to know it's not an easy thing to get married in Germany. You may get married where you are if you are meeting people across the country or within Germany in particular. So you may choose to get married in your country. I find that to be very easy. In Europe, people call Denmark as the Vegas of Europe because it's easy to get married there. You will go there like in Vegas, and just within sparkling of time, you are pronounced husband and wife, and then you can have an apostrophe, something like that. Not legalization. I think apostrophe. They'll give you the marriage certificate in German, in English, and also in Danish, and then you can proceed and get married. But as I've learned of late, because I'm very good at researching and also trying to learn the changes and new things, so I came to learn that somehow there have been drawn some little bit of restrictions also in Denmark. There's been some kind of concerns over that, and in my opinion, I would think it comes from countries like Germany, where they feel like this country is just marrying people off, and maybe these people end up going in various countries. They are not even staying in Denmark. Rather, they get married to go to Germany, get married to go to Switzerland, get married to them. So you find that this easy process has increased a lot of immigrants, maybe that are not even well checked, they are not well understood and stuff like that. So thereby they have reduced and come down a little bit. Someone told me, I got to learn that Sweden has eased their marital regulations a little bit, like when it comes to marrying and stuff like that for foreigners and stuff like that. I don't know how true it is. I have not been able to come up with concrete information where I can say this is what is happening. I know that it's also not easy to get married there, though I know that Germany is more tough when it comes to that. So, and the problem also, like for Zambians in particular at the embassy, I don't know how it is today, but what I know is the German embassy is very skeptical about signing the legalizing the letter of impediment. Okay, and for it's basically for a few reasons. I'll give you one reason that were given by the German immigration from Berlin. They say that in Zambia we don't have a central register, a central marriage register, and it comes as a result of a system, as I've always advocated. We don't have a proper system where people can identify who's married and who's not. We always just carry marriage as something that, we are married, we are not married, irregardless of whether the government recognizes your marriage or not. And most of these issues, they arise as a result of maybe when someone dies and these things come up and stuff like that. But it's always good to have a system whereby whether you're married by custom or by statutory, these things have where they are documented and they can be pulled out regardless of where you are in Zambia. This information needs to be at the tip of the immigration, of officials, and of any kind of sorts of whenever it's needed. When we need to, like, if you click your name and stuff like that, this has to come up naturally, but that's not the case, thereby hindering this process. So for many Zambians, what I've seen, if they're getting married, you can get that through the High Court or maybe the council. So now people opt now to get married in Zambia and then process and legalize their documents and then come to Germany. So thereafter, of which I find that to be easier, because in as much as even two foreigners that are living in Germany, they work here, I tell you, they find it very difficult to get married here, because sometimes it's always known that they are keen to ask you for documents that maybe even you would not know where to get such documents in your own country. Okay, or it would be very difficult. For example, I heard someone say they were asked to bring a letter from their then headmaster. Probably that man is already dead or retired, or you don't even know where they are. You understand? So you don't know how to go about this. You go to the school, but this they will tell you, but we're not your headmaster. That and our systems are not well aligned with clarity. It's like there's that confusion of people not knowing who's in charge of this or in charge of that. So I'm just throwing in general information, whether it comes to system, whether it comes to getting married, so that you advise properly. Of recent, I also came to learn that Netherlands is actually also easing up their system in terms of people who would want to get married there. I am not so sure, and so I cannot speak about that unless if I get to find more information about it. Hello? Hello. I get to find out more information as pertaining to that. As for now, I cannot say more. But what I would advise you is you need to be very eager in knowing things and finding out information, because sometimes your own route is a basis for the future. Why do I say so? Your own experience can be a basis on where someone gets saved, or you learn the process. And so it doesn't have to be like this is the process, this is always the process. For example, my process of coming here has always been unique, and it's a process that is very different from what other people have gone through. So I do believe, and sometimes when I'm asked to advise, or maybe I try to give people my path, I know it's special because it's a little bit like only meant for me, I would say, or it was only designed for me. But what's your take from this video? I know the information is all jumbled up, especially, but I did not prepare for it, but my mind is well prepared. So what you can take home from this video is that do research as pertaining to your own situation, either through YouTube information and things like that. Then, if you need a visa, see the website of the place you're trying to go to, look at the requirements, keenly meet everything. I always advise people to over meet whatever is being requested or required of you. So if they need 3 things, provide 5, thereby not giving them room for your rejection. It's very important to do that. And I also shared one video where I said I was rejected visa. I appealed on my own, because I've had people ask me under that video, and also by email, by saying, oh, should I involve a lawyer, should I do that? At that time I had no idea I needed to involve a lawyer. For me it was like, okay, I can easily reappeal it, and I appealed it, and I got it within 2 days, I think, I do believe. And on that appeal I started agent, and all this information I have shared in my video. I hope that this will help you. So follow what the country says. It's always important to stay within the law. Don't do shortcuts. Don't get advice from people who have done shortcuts just because they have been successful. These things have repercussions, and they will always haunt you in future. When you are almost at the verge of success, then they come and strike. And that's why the right way is always the shortest way to follow. This is my advice. And the other advice that I would say, or a suggestion to African countries, can we have a clear system so that our people can find it easy to interact with the global world in terms of visas, in terms of business, in terms of everything. All the hiccups, all the questions that arises as a question of when one wants to interact with another country, either personally, as a business, as a country, and also, can we wipe out, or can we answer these questions? Can we at least see how we can clear everything, so that by the end of the day we have less to worry about? So thank you for watching and for listening. I hope that you have learned 1 or 2 things. Is there anything that you would love me to talk about? I am free to do so long I have the necessary information to rate. So thank you and God bless you and have a brilliant day. From me to you, it's goodbye.